It is the conference championships. We've got one running back that is crushing playoff dreams. We've got best bets to go through, and of course, breaking down both of these games for the weekend. So let's dive in the roundup. Two big questions for the weekend are, can Lamar Jackson take down the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and can the Lions step up on the road with Jared Goff going up against the 49ers? Let's break it down. Let's start with the Detroit Lions going on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers right now are 7-point home favorites with the total sitting at 51.5. Here's the thing for both of these two teams. The one for the San Francisco 49ers is that we have to watch out for Deebo Samuel. He did get in a limited practice on Thursday, but watching the injury reports, he may not be able to go this weekend. So if that is the case, per Dwayne McFarland and really everyone at Fantasy Life, it is a huge Brandon Auk day. So make sure to watch out for those. Go to fantasylife.com to check out all of our content that we have written up on him. And for the Lions, the one thing historically here that we see for the Lions is Jared Goff on the road outdoors. He is 9-14-1 against the spread in games in December and January outdoors in his career. So we know that that's not looking very good, but for him, he is not expected to go through a ton of weather this weekend. Neither of these teams are. It's not supposed to be snowing. It's not supposed to be very windy. Might have light rain. So that could be good for Jared Goff in this situation to step up. The one thing here is that you want to look at the Lions and this run game that they have. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery could be keys here, as well as the obvious of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. But this should be a fun one. Here's hoping that the Lions can keep it up in this game. Next one that we have to go to, of course, is the really fun one. It's actually the first game of the weekend, and that is Ravens taking on the Chiefs. Chiefs traveling. They are 3.5-point road underdogs in this one, with the total sitting at 44.5. I mean, first of all, this is going to be a great game. One thing to keep an eye on is Isaiah Pacheco. He did not practice on Thursday, so that is going to be something that you definitely keep an eye on. For Lamar Jackson, he's been having an incredible season. We can expect Spagnuolo and this defense to go ahead and blitz him because it's the right thing to do. But Lamar Jackson putting up those MVP numbers, it is going to be a fun one to watch. And with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, it's really who can step up in this offense. We know that their defenses have kept them in a ton of games this season, but is it going to be Travis Kelce? Can we expect something out of Noah Gray, out of Watson? There are some guys, Rashee Rice, of course. There are guys that need to step up in order for them to go up and be able to win this game against the Ravens. I've got the Ravens in this one. I think Lamar Jackson is going to punch his ticket to his first Super Bowl, but again, a lot of great things going on in this game, and it should be a fun one to watch. Who could be a playoff hero this weekend? We gotta break down Isaiah Pacheco. Now, like I said, we have to be careful when looking at Isaiah Pacheco this weekend because he has not practiced all week, but he has been crushing it for the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. We're looking at the Board Pro 75 right here, rankings and tiers. Isaiah Pacheco has been delivering RB1 level goodness since Jerick McKinnon was placed on IR. But I want to focus right now with you guys on the playoffs. He has 39 rush attempts, which is the most in a 2-game span that he's seen all season long. He has 186 yards, he has 2 touchdowns, and he has 8 rushes of 8 yards or more in the playoffs. And here's the stat that I wanted to tell you. Per Next Gen Stats, 60% of Isaiah Pacheco's carries have gone over the expected yardage, which is the most out of any running back in the conference championships this weekend. So, like I said, he's been absolutely crushing it. The one thing that Dwayne pointed out for this weekend, the Ravens have allowed the fewest yards per passing attempt in the league, but when you look at it, have been more generous against the run. They rank 23rd, and that's 4.4 allowed. So that's something to watch out here for. Isaiah Pacheco, we hope he's healthy enough to go this weekend, because if he is going to be in a really, really good spot. Dwayne McFarland writes out here, he is one of only 2 players in his tier 2 for the rankings and tiers this weekend. He is your number 4 option between all running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. So here's hoping Isaiah Pacheco is good to go, because he could be a playoff hero for the Chiefs. Now it's time for our Underdog Pick'em plays for the weekend. As always, though, I have to remind you, make sure you use promo code LIFE, because Underdog will match your first deposit of up to $100. Now let's get into our plays for the weekend. Our first pick and play for the weekend is going to George Kittle. We are going to go on his higher than 61.5 receiving yards. As you can see right here, played till 64.5, and the fantasy life projections have him going for 65.8 yards this weekend. Again, this is written up by Jeff, fantasylife.com, to go and check out the full article, but I really like his write-up down here where he says Cade Otton, and he kind of highlights what he was able to do going up against the Lions last weekend. We can see he had 5 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown. So why do we not believe that George Kittle's going to do the same thing, especially if Deebo Samuel is out? I know we highlighted Brandon Auk a lot during the show, but I think this is still such a great call out that people might miss. So I like the George Kittle hire here. I'm going fast here so you don't see all of the plays that we're going with this weekend, because my last one here that I like is Noah Gray, higher than 9.5 receiving yards. You can see here, play till 10.5, fantasy life projection has him at 15. So with the Kansas City Chiefs, we know that if Isaiah Pacheco is good to go, that they're going to have a strong running game, but guys need to step up in this spot for Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. And the one way to do that is to try and get more people involved. We know that Travis Kelce has flipped a switch a little bit. We know that Rashee Rice is going to do Rashee Rice things, but I think this is a phenomenal call out. I think this number is a little bit too low, so I'm hitting that Noah Gray higher than 9.5 receiving yards in this one. Thank you so much for joining me right here on the Roundup. As always, make sure you go to fantasylife.com. Make sure you go subscribe to that newsletter and the Betting Life newsletter, and make sure you go check out all of our best bets, all of our content 100% free. Enjoy Conference Championship weekend. We'll see you next time.